Don't you think we have too many bullies? We do. We have too many bullies. Am I too nice? Leadership, I never heard that leadership had to be me. I have been a proven leader in this community. I have created wonderful programs. I have taken the bull by the horn, seen things that have needed to be done, and have done them. You know, Menifee Better Together was created because Habitat for Humanity reached out to me. They said, Lisa, we know you're a person of influence in this community. Can you get us some volunteers together to help in our senior core area with the Brush and Kindness program? I said, you bet. After I was in the Sun City Core and we were working on seniors' homes, I saw widows and widowers who are unable physically and unable financially to do their yard work and to do minor home repairs. I then asked to have a meeting with our city manager, Habitat for Humanity, and I attended as the interfaith chair. I said I would like to form a program. I'd like to call it Menifee Better Together. They loved the idea. So every spring, we now, for 5 years, have had a beautification cleanup day with a partner with Habitat, the city, and many other nonprofits. For the past 2 years, we've had over 450 volunteers out.
Okay, that's your time. Thank you, Lisa.
I agree 100%. We've seen a lot of growth in Menifee, and I'd love to keep Menifee the city of a lifetime. It's very important that we understand that our city plan is an award-winning city plan. And I've seen the city plan, I've gone over it with the city manager, and it is designed to keep us at a small town feel. It's got a lot of commercial, it's got some commercial, it's got some residential, and it's got some mixed use. I wish we could show that to everybody here so you can understand that the people that are in place currently understand that we want to keep our city with a small town feel. And the city plan does that. There will be some amendments to the city plan. That's where a business mind comes in. That's where somebody that's going to be sitting on the city council wants to hear the common sense reason why there should be an amendment to the city plan. I don't want to hear a political reason. I want to hear a common sense reason. Why is this going to be better for the city of Menifee? Being strong on that stance is what's going to keep us a small town feel. So far we are. I feel I am. I've been here for 16 years, and I think Menifee is still just a really nice small town. And getting to know everybody by walking the streets and knocking on doors makes me feel like it's even more of a small town feel. I know a lot of people, and I'm very proud of the city, and I'll make sure it stays a small town feel.
Okay, Darcy.
Well, District 3 is one of the only remaining districts that has large areas of land to continue to develop, but I do support property owners' rights, and there are some plants that are on those vacant fields. Even though you enjoy using them today, you still have to respect the other rights that people that own that property, what they have. But going back to an earlier answer that I gave was, I would ensure that we have rural design guidelines that are followed that give future development a blueprint on respecting that rural community and ensuring that our trails plans are implemented and respecting our hillsides as well, and not developing along the hillsides in Menifee so that we can enjoy the beauty and the natural environment of those areas as well. Thank you.
Thank you. So Lisa, same question.
Would you mind repeating the question?
What are you going to do to help Menifee keep its rural charm? Large portions of the city are under development, and many of the fields I enjoyed as a child are now gone. Where do you specifically stand on this issue?
Well, as your planning commissioner for the last 3 years, I have been involved with the development code. I was involved with protecting our hillside and making our hillside ordinance and passing it on to the city council. As I have met with residents, we do have a big interest and a love for our hills and our open space. We have a general plan. The general plan gives us the element of all size lots. We need to stick general plan, protect the rural areas, let the housing developments be developed where they are, let the businesses in our downtown area be developed, and this will protect our rural city charm. We are very fortunate to live in the city. I don't know about you, but I love our hillsides. I love the rock outcroppings. They're beautiful, and we need to preserve them. That is something that is unique to Menifee that a lot of other cities around us don't have. And so we need to follow the general plan, stick to it when projects come before us.
Thank you. And some questions, you Mickey.
Well, the one thing we all agree on, the general plan is a good general plan. And so we just need to stay with that, and we'll monitor it. We'll see where we have to go if the rural things start getting attacked. We've already had a couple of issues. But what I want to see in the new buildings of the homes that are coming in now is that they have everything to protect our natural resources. Every new home development should have solar. Every new home should have a gray water system. Because even though we're going to have one heck of a winter with a lot of rain with El Nino, that's not going to put a damper on our drought. So we need to make our builders more conscious of what we have as our natural resources. Because once those are lost, we're not going to get them back. But again, I agree with everybody up here. The general plan is a strong general plan. We need to stay the road with that one. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil. Service.
Well, I certainly won't do that again. Mr. Greg August was, we had a little bit of a confrontational environment at that time based on some issues. So for that, that's in the past, and moving forward, I know that I can work with Greg. We share a lot of concerns about the seniors and the homeless and animals, so I know that I can work better with the colleagues on the city council. You know, sometimes when you're a leader, you don't always agree on everything. You can't make all the people happy all the time, and you learn from some of those things and those conversations, and you move forward. You know, even Gandhi had enemies, but I think experience does matter. It's a one-year term. It takes a long time to get your feet on the ground and move forward and be able to get in the saddle and make contributions on the city council. So with that, experience does matter.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. That's a very good question. I'm not as familiar as I'd like to be, which I will get familiar with, is permitting prices. $1,000 to do a permit. I think it's important that we understand that sometimes permitting prices are there and in place to make sure that the individuals that are seeking permits are really serious about what they want to do and really serious about following code. You know, it's important that we make sure that when things are taking place and adjustments are made with our homes or our yards, that we do get it permitted properly and legally and pay what it costs to do so. In the future, if $1,000 is too much, I really don't know what other cities charge at this point, then we'll take a look at it. I think we should take a look at it. Well, I don't think it'll be up to an individual council person on how much to charge for permitting. But it's very important that we look at it and take it seriously and find out, gee, we are paying too much in the city of Menifee for permits, and how do we look compared to other cities? Is it the same everywhere? We need to find that out, and I'll be sure to make that one of my top priorities because it is a question, and I will definitely follow up and make sure I find out what it is in other cities, and if we can lower it, if it's higher than most. And I appreciate your understanding. I don't keep turning on the darn on button on the microphone.
Okay, we'll go to Darcy and see if it's on or off.
You know, fees in Menifee are on a cost recovery basis, and it is harder for the smaller folks to come up with some of those fees. We do have a deposit-based system. So it could be looked at as giving some of the smaller permits more of a flat fee. And it's a study that needs to be undertaken in order to review and look at those fees. So I agree with Stu. That's something it is a hindrance to some of the smaller folks out there. Some of the events are kind of cost prohibitive as well. It can be looked at. It can certainly be changed in the future.
Thank you. Lisa, on the same question.
Well, I am not familiar on what people have to pay for fees. That's the first time I've heard that. I have heard from a few business and developers that they kind of nickname Menifee fees. But if I don't have the answer, I will definitely do my due diligence and find out the answer. I am a public servant for the people, and I care about the people. And if they bring a question to me and I don't know the answer, I will find that answer out.
Thank you. And Neil, one question.
I've talked about this in a past forum, and I use the term benchmarking, and it can apply to fees as well. We have lots of cities that are doing great jobs attracting businesses and charging reasonable fees. And so what we need to do is we need to benchmark certain cities that are doing a good job to make sure our fees aren't out of line. Because what happens when the fees are too expensive? We have people doing things illegally. They're going to build anyway, hoping they're not going to get caught. So that's the problem. So we have to fix that problem. We have to benchmark. We have to take a look at the best cities doing the best things, not just only in fees, but in how they design everything, the whole infrastructure. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. We just need to be more careful and watch what other good cities are doing. Thank you.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm in favor of senior housing, and it's only because my mother, who was 80 when she came down with Alzheimer's, she didn't want to leave her house. She felt that was part of her freedom. So I have a fear that senior housing becomes something like that. And so I think we need to take a look at other things as protecting where they live today, keeping them comfortable for where they are today. Because I don't want to see senior housing popping up all over the place, because I know what that can be, because that's where my mother spent the last 3 years of her life. So I don't really have much a better answer than that, but I do know that there's some dignity that we have to look at. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go to Stu next on this one.
It's a very good question, senior housing. Menifee 8 years ago or 7 years ago when we became a city, the median age in the city of Menifee was 58. Right now the median age in the city of Menifee is 38. We need to take a close look at what our needs are to bring more people here so we have our population grows, and we need to look at intermediate housing. Now I don't want to walk away from senior housing, of course, but as an example, we have a senior community down here at the Orchards, and everybody I'm sure is familiar with that. They've been selling homes for some time now. They have about 125 homes there, and they've sold about 19. And they've been for sale for some time. So they haven't even sold a quarter of the amount of homes that they have to sell. They have another area slated out for senior housing, which is called the Primrose. That's another area that they're going to be putting senior homes as well. We got to look at what our needs are. What do we need in the city of Menifee that is in demand? Right now in demand, what we need is have intermediate housing. We need to keep our seniors in homes, obviously. We need to keep them comfortable, and I would wholeheartedly be a proponent for that. But then again, we also, need to see what do we need. I think we need more intermediate housing. I think we need some housing for some younger kids that can't afford a $330,000 home currently. Thank you.
Thank you. And Darcy, go ahead. Take your turn with this question. Are you in favor of senior housing? And if yes, what would it look like?
I support what the market for our community demands. So if there's a demand for senior housing here and there's a place for it, then that's what I would support. How it looks would have to be compatible with our development code and the surrounding community, and And that would satisfy me plenty fine.
Okay, and Lisa, same question?
As a planning commissioner, we've had 2 projects come before us that they want to build a senior facility. The senior facilities, the market has directed that, and that is a need here. We have 19% right now of senior citizens. A senior citizen project most likely will be enclosed. Number one thing seniors are concerned about is safety. They want to feel safe. Another element it should have is the universal design element. If you're not familiar with what the universal design element is, look it up. It's wider hallways, it's lower thresholds in case a walker or wheelchair needs to go in. It's grab bars by the bathtubs. One of the facilities that came before the Planning Commission wanted to have a space for senior gardens. They have a senior activity room. And what is that bell? Can we check it out?
No,
Sorry.
yeah.
Buzzer.
We're not sure what that is. Okay, we'll try to overlook that and hold it against quickly.
I'll just say that something else the seniors want, they really enjoy living in a gated facility. They want to feel safe, number one. Number two, a design element. A universal design where they can age in place gracefully.
Thank you.
Making
What would you do to make the city more bicycle and pedestrian friendly?
Yeah, it needs to be more bicycle and pedestrian friendly. I do agree with that, and that would be in the planning portion of as development goes, and then you allow for bicycle lanes and pedestrian lanes. It's not too difficult. I think the challenge that we have is that there are areas in our city that there's part of the road is improved on one side, got curb and gutters and trails, on the other side you don't. It's in my neighborhood, that's where it exists. So that's where the challenges are going to lie. And again, it's just all about money and funding. So that's going to be aggressively going after grants that you can get additional trails and pedestrian right-of-way and walkways built in those areas that are already developed that don't have those improvements today.
Thank you. Let's go to Neil for that same question. What would you do to make the city more bicycle and pedestrian friendly?
Well, let's talk about landmarks. Let's talk about Newport. It's gone this third time now it's being rebuilt. Is there a bike lane? No. Dominicana's got it, but it stops. So this is all part of this overall planning when you build an infrastructure. You have a question now about bike lanes. Well, that should have been taken care of. There's bike lanes all over Orange County. And I'm standing on the corners, and I got seniors going by me all the time on their bikes. They're riding on the sidewalks, they're riding across the curbs, they're trying to get across in 10 seconds. So there is a bigger picture here. You can't just make a magic wand and build a bunch of bike lanes, but that's what we have to do now. We have to take a look at the entire picture. When we build roads, we know we have people that are wanting to stay active, they want to work out. We've got a lot of bikers, young and old. And so we have to figure out a way to do that. We got to stop just doing a knee-jerk build, because this is what comes up. Okay, well, what about the bike lanes? Oh, geez, we forgot about those. So we got to take our time. You know, we have to take a look at the entire picture when we do these things. How we can do it now? We have to start saying, okay, we got to take this thing across Newport. We got to take it across the freeway. We have to do it with the new Holland Pass. We have to do it with the new Scott Road overbuild, and the same thing with McCall. So we have to start saying, okay, we look at the entire picture, the entire population of what their needs are. And that requires you to be more hands-on. Thank you.
Okay, Lisa, same question.
Thank you. Well, first of all, in our general plan, it has that element. They have researched it. We have a Parks and Trail Commission. This has been part of their job. They have been planning our bicycle paths, our horse paths. They have done a great job. I have driven around with them and seen these paths throughout our community. It does need a little bit more work. There's some of the trails that don't connect. But that that is part of our general plan element. Also, what I'm proposing, a public safety and traffic commission, that's something that they can look at as well. We are a healthy community. We are a smart community. Okay, healthy communities, that is part of the plan. Healthy bicycle trails. And part of that plan is to live, work, and play, and be able to have that element. That is part of our general plan element, and the research has been done.
Thank you. And now we'll ask Stu Blaze the same question.
I think it's important that we do have bicycle paths, and we need to look at it in the future. Whenever we're doing any type of road improvements and spend money on that, we need to definitely include that. I was kind of surprised Newport Road did not have bike lanes. There are organizations that collect excise gas tax per gallon, and there are other organizations that sometimes fund cities to be able to afford things like this when they do road improvements. And the important thing for a city council person to do is to make sure that they shoulder up with these organizations. It's almost like when you see a TV commercial and they say the phone number 18 times before the end, you never forget that phone number. Well, we need to be with these organizations and make sure that we say Menifee, City of Menifee, City of Menifee. And we need to be there and cook them breakfast, we need to be there cooking lunch, we need to be there cooking dinner. And we need to get funding for things that when we do make improvements, that those things are included. Because it's important. If people feel safe in those type of situations of riding their bikes, maybe they won't take their cars. Maybe it will help people make this continue to feel like a very small town because more people are using bikes and feeling safe doing it. So I'm all for bike lanes and future road improvement everywhere, as long as it's safe, as long as the speed limit is safe. Dominicani, a little bit too fast for bike lanes.
Thank you. You go first.
Define transparency.
You want me to repeat the question?
No, transparency. What do you mean by transparency?
Transparency, do you feel like the public has been fairly apprised of everything that's gone on in the campaign? I think is what they're asking.
Well, I think so. I personally did not want to go after any endorsements other than the Republican Party, which Memphis got the endorsement. I wanted to run this race on my own. I didn't want to take any money from anybody, which I did not. I've only spent my capital, my cash, and I promised not to spend more than $900. I'm at $873 right now. So right now, this is what I'm doing. I don't care about endorsements. I didn't apply. I only applied for the one, which was the Republican Party. The others I put in the trash because I wanted to see if I could do this on my own merits and my own skill sets. And I pray to God that people who are voting would take the time to research the candidates, seek them out and talk to them and find out what's important on both sides of the coin. And I hope that many of you here, you already got your ballots already, that you hadn't already filled them out and mailed them in until you heard us all tonight. So I think you might have been sorry if you sent some in too early. So anyway, that's my feedback on the endorsements. Don't really need them, don't care about them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Lisa, what's your response to that?
Well, I first heard of the endorsement when I saw it on Menifee 24/7 by the Sheriff's Department. And I was really surprised at what it said. It said that unanimously the Sheriff's Department, through the interview process, chose to support Stu Blaze. I was never invited to participate in an interview process. They didn't even know me. Several of my friends are sheriffs in the city and have my signs in their yard. So is the perception right that was given out to the community? I don't know. I did reach out to Mr. Masson, who is the union president. He's now a resident in the city of Menifee. And I wanted to introduce myself over the phone, even though he had already chosen to endorse a candidate. He got back to me almost a week later. And our phone call was very short. I just won't go into details. But I was Now for the BIA, the building industry. I gave Mr. Blankenship a call the day our applications were due, introduced myself as well, because that's the kind of person I am. He told me on the phone that day that our applications were due, that he had already written a check to one of my opponents, and that it bothered me that I had an association with one of the council members, and that they like to do business with those that they already had a relationship with.
Okay, that's your time. Thank you, Lisa.